Healing Journey Part 2. I'm gonna grab my toolkit. Boom, right there. We're gonna go into the recording studio. What a studio is. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh, that's perfect. That's right where I want that to be. Relax. I'm gonna fix this. So I don't like that either. I don't know if I can fix this. I tell you what, I got a little tiny, I'm gonna use this tiny box, which I've included in previous videos, and we're gonna just do that. Can I get up close? Do I have room? Do I have space? All right. Healing Part 2. What does that mean? I didn't watch Healing Part 1. Maybe you should go back and watch 1. This is gonna be a little distracting. I'm on a healing journey, right? This is unfortunate because I don't know what I talked about in the first one, so I may double cover. And if you watch this in Part 1, then Part 2, that may be a little discouraging for you. And I don't know what to tell you. You're just gonna have to deal with it. This is how I operate. I started recording some of the healing information that I was getting, and on this journey, I'll just tell you what sparked the whole thing. I went through a class called MTI, and at the end of that class, it left me with a bunch of new skills and no real outlet to share. And so that's why I'm making videos, is so I can, share my experience on this path, on this course. And it's my hope that it would inspire some others to maybe do the same. Maybe your outlet is something different. Maybe it's music or something like that. And I just think it'd be super cool to see fruits in that area. The healing journey that I'm on was, I kind of took my time with it, right? I number one, felt quite led to figure out some sort of, what's the word? Not a hobby, but like some way to express myself and to function properly. One of the things that we do in MTI is we hear from God. And basically one person in the group will sit in the middle. Everyone will pray over them. Of course, there's some things that happen before we just jump into it to set the tone, get the atmosphere right. And we invite the Holy Spirit in. It's amazing. We recommend doing it. And so we got to function on a weekly basis. Now, we're out of that routine, and so I'm trying to create these videos and really this is going to be my new outlet. I feel like I already said that. So moving right along, I've been praying over people. Well, let me back up actually. I felt called into a ministry of some sort. And the first one that I really felt challenged to do was to pray so hard that I could walk on water. That sounds crazy. That sounds crazy when I say it out loud. But that's the truth. I thought that, maybe if I spent enough time and I was dedicated enough and I believed hard enough, then maybe that could happen. I still kind of feel that way, but I'm a little torn on direction. That seems like a lot of work for right now. So the second thing I felt led to do was heal others. I didn't want to share it with too many people and spoil the surprise, but I did. And I waited. I had to wait kind of a long time, I think, because I messed up a lot of my opportunities to receive a prophetic word. Well, finally it came. A member in the congregation came up to me randomly one Sunday, and she said, I got a word for you, James. I wrote it down on this piece of paper. And basically what it says is she's got a thing on here that says what to tell James. It's stuff like break every chain. I'm still working on that. I don't know exactly what that is. I'm probably bound up like all crazy. Like, let's see what else. Acts 9:34, and also so there was scripture there, right? Acts 9:34. She also had pick up your mat and walk. Simple prayers, people healed, chains broken, people follow Jesus. She wrote these things down in this order, and it's on this little piece of paper. It also had a story attached to it, which I sort of wrote down. She had a vision of me laying my hands on people and healing people. So this was obviously the step that I needed to really kick this thing off. I felt pretty sure of myself, but there's wisdom in waiting, right? There's wisdom in seeking counsel. And what's funny is I wasn't seeking it. I was praying about it. I was praying for an answer, and it took like a day, and it felt like an eternity. It felt so long for that to come. So, James, he wants you to know Acts 9:34. This is obviously not the case yet. So, in my Bible, I've got some notes sort of written down there. So, this is what I've got, is 34. Acts 9:34. And Peter said to him, Aeneas, like Nintendo Entertainment System, Jesus Christ heals you. Rise and make your bed. And immediately he rose. I think the backstory was, let's see. This guy, Aeneas, and I can't stop thinking about Nintendo. Aeneas was bedridden for 8 years. He was paralyzed. And Peter said to him, Aeneas, Jesus Christ heals you. Rise and make your bed. And he immediately rose. He was healed at that point. This is pretty crazy, this little story. The next story that it links to as well is Peter raises someone from the dead. I don't know yet of another place where we had basically, whether it's a disciple or any random dude, raise someone from the dead. But, I mean, this guy, what did he say? This is Acts 9:40. But Peter put them all outside. So he's clearing out this well, I'll just say it this way. Back up a verse. I think it's partway through 39. All the windows stood beside him. Excuse me, widows. That's a hard word, you know. Some of these words, you've got to really get into it and be able to read. That always helps. All the widows stood beside him, weeping and showing tunics and other garments that Dorcas made while she was with them. But Peter put them all outside and knelt down and prayed. And turning to the body, he said, Tabitha, arise. And she opened her eyes. And when she saw Peter, she sat up and gave her his hand. What? And he gave her his hand and raised her up. Again, I'm not the greatest at reading. I promise to work on that. That strikes me though. There's a couple things. I mean, I'm really interested to know all of the stories where someone is being raised from the dead, because it's like even Genie from Aladdin doesn't want to do that, you know? But these guys are. Peter did. I don't know. It blows me away. It really does. So I'm in Acts quite a bit apparently, because I've got some torn pages. And I got this. Oh, I didn't get a date on this. That was a bad idea. The other notes that I have in here, though, are... one of them is Acts 10. Is that really 16? I guess that's Acts 10:16. Compare what happened 3 times. This happens 3 times. Oh, this is where... Oh, common. Well, look, I apologize. These notes are pretty... On the other page are pretty broken up. but the 934 was where I was supposed to go for the healing message, the healing of NES. So this is kind of, that was the one thing that I ultimately needed to hear, to know, like, yes, this is a confirmation. I absolutely need to start doing more in this area. Now, what's funny about this is, for me, I'm a tech guy. I always thought that my niche, my forte, was going to be something in audio visual, and I'm okay to be in front of cameras or up in front of the audience. So I kind of thought also maybe that's where I'm supposed to be, because I have this like a strength in that area. And then I was like, well, or maybe I'm supposed to be on the lawn maintenance crew. Or maybe I'm supposed to be, and this is in order, by the way, maybe I'm supposed to be serving in, well, and here's the other thing is, worship team would be awesome, but I lack any of those skills to really be a benefit. So there's some things that I kind of have to work on. I'm gonna raise you guys up here because I want to get a little closer. So then from there, it's like, oh, I guess I could maybe be on the cleaning crew, but I don't want to do that. Or I could be in the children's church. I think that's where in rank, that's the next one down. Sorry. Children's ministry is not my thing yet. I could see myself going into some kind of youth, like youth. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, and then below all that stuff is like maybe prayer, at being basically sort of the bottom of my list. Well, what's so funny is when you think you've got it figured out, especially with the Lord, then he just goes and he changes it up. I'm sorry about the little noises. That's probably really annoying. He goes and he changes it up. I prayed for his heart to become my heart. I want your heart, Lord. And I would pray that. Better understanding and all the stuff, that's what I wanted. And this is what happened, is I started to realize that healing is prayer. You're simply asking for a need that someone has. And that's the simplest form, right? And then I started really getting into prayer, and I'm like, what? This is crazy. Well, then for my journey here, the journey part of healing, every Sunday I've been going up and going quite rogue. I just go straight up there. I didn't even ask permission. I didn't have a doctor's note. I just went up and started praying for people. And what's so crazy is it was needed. I think the first weekend that I went up there, Sally came up with me, a gal from our congregation, and we prayed over between 8 and 13 people. All kinds of stuff. We had healing. We had, she got into some prophecy while she was up there, and the people that came up were ministered to, and we got to go deep. We got to go on a deeper level. What was so great about that is it built a new trust with these people. It actually got one couple, they were brave enough to come up, their first weekend, and they felt the presence of the Lord. They absolutely called it out. They said, this is spirit-filled. You guys nailed it. We're blown away. We can't even believe this is happening. And they've been back ever since. And we're so excited. That's just so awesome to me. So that looks like it was July 7th. And so since then, I've been writing down the different prayers that we've been requesting. And it's pretty interesting as I've been going through this, the type of attacks that I'm receiving. A whole bunch of, spiritual demonic attacks are completely happening. So that's been pretty interesting as well. That should be maybe be part 3, is the change in life and what sort of begins to happen there. So I think I'm going to call it for this particular video. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you found something insightful or enjoyable, or that you just liked it in general. And I'll see you guys later.